Everyone, welcome back to the channel. So oftentimes around here we'll talk about storytelling devices, whether it's programs or books about writing, or sometimes we'll play a game that tells a story, just something that kind of entertains. But what we don't talk about often is the accountability part of that, where you have to actually see if your stories are actually making rounds and that people are reading them, and that you're getting compensated for that. And what I thought I would do today is I would look at just a couple of programs, one of which I just learned about this week, and then the other I've been using for a little while, and compare the differences. And these are apps that actually show you what your sales are. And usually, like when you go through independent publishing and you use a provider like Draft Digital or Smashwords or Publish Drive or one of those, it'll track your sales for you, and that's all great. You can even download spreadsheets and do your own accounting, and that's important to know because you want to know whether or not your efforts are worth it. And a lot of these will tell you what goes out. Not a lot of them, or sorry, what comes back to you. Not a lot of them will show you like what you're spending or anything like that. And what I want to do today is I want to show you just briefly this app that I just discovered this past week. I guess it just came out of beta a few weeks ago, but it's I want to compare the one I've been using, which is Book Report, to this new one, which we'll show you. And I think it's an interesting thing to look at, because you definitely want to make sure that when you're trying to do a writer's business, that you're treating it like one, and that means knowing like how your money is being handled, coming in and all that. So I just want to take a quick look at these two programs and show you the pros and cons of each app, and let you all decide what to do with that. So without further ado, let's take a look at Book Report and ScribeCount. Yes, I had to look it up because it's so new that I forgot what it was called. Yeah, don't have a bad memory, guys. Take your vitamins. So here we go. So right now what we're looking at is we're looking at the Book Report main screen, and just so you, I know it's off camera, but up in the dashboard here, I've got an icon for Book Report. It's in the same place where the historical and bookmarks and all those things are. And what's cool about Book Report and ScribeCount both is that they do have app links on that little pocket dashboard up at the top, so you don't ever need to go and search through your URL or through your Google search or anything like that. It's already on your dashboard, so you just click on it and it'll open. Now with Book Report in particular, you do need to log into Amazon before you can use it. For some people, they like to have it open at all times. I personally don't do that. I don't make enough sales to to justify having it open all the time. But one thing I like about Book Report versus just going into KDP is the way the presentation looks. So right now I don't have it as sale for today, so I can't show you what the screen looks like. But if I go into historical, you can see what my sales have been over the last 5 years. You know, I mean, I'm killing it, as you can tell. I mean, I'm definitely top of my top of my industry at that $17 price point over 5 years. But you know, it's the joy of making a living. So no, actually, I'm really grateful to those people out there who are picking up my books. You can tell what my top sellers are right now. I mean, Gutter Child is across the $10 mark, which is I again, you guys who's out there is buying it, thank you very much. I think it's the first time I had a book cross that threshold, so you know, that's really nice. And of course, Computer Nerds got a couple in there. Amusement is, I'm not sure if that was a refund. I think that was just a price match because it's free everywhere else, so that's proof that Amazon will price match even the free ones. It's just nice if they would actually change it without you having to tell them to change it. But anyway, what's cool about Book Report is it gives you an overall presentation of what you're doing. But unlike KDP, you don't have to go trying to drill down each book to figure out who actually made the sale. This one will just tell you which one's done it. So if I want to look at, again, whether or not Gutter Child is doing well, I mean, yes, according to this. I mean, well, for me. I mean, if you're you know, top $1 million seller, this would be you know, hopefully like an hour's worth of sales. But you know, for me, that's not bad. But you can also see how it's doing by percentage or by number, by unit. So these are two ways. And of course, it's by marketplace also. So you can see that I'm still doing best in America, but Canadian sales are coming up pretty good. And then I have a French sale, and then UK. And then I think there's 12 markets in total, so you can see which marketplaces you have by choosing, not that. Actually not. There's a way you can check your market. I think it's over here. You can see what all the different marketplaces are that are out there by selecting this. But it's just, again, it's a pretty easy way of keeping track of things. And the nice thing about Book Report is it is free. You just go to app.getbookreport.com. Don't worry, I'll have it in the description below so you can click on it yourself. And then you just install the dashboard app, and then anytime you want to open it up, just click on the button. And you may have to again log into KDP to access this, but what's cool about it is it keeps up information by the day, so you're always on top of information and you don't have to wait too long. I think the interval is 30 minutes, I believe, is how often it keeps up. It might be as long as a day, I'm not actually sure. But you have different settings you can check through to see how things are doing. This is just giving you an overview of what your different books are, and I guess if you click on one, you can see what it's a fast way of checking the details on your book. So that's Book Report. Pretty straightforward. It's friendly. Not a lot of overkill on the information. It's just right to the point. And then, unlike KDP's dashboard, it gives you the information you want when you want it. And you know, I like that it does that. You know, if you're a publisher, you can also drill down by author, which is kind of cool. And then this is a good way to see what your comparisons are by market. Now, why would you need something like this? Again, it's just for those of you who need to know what you're pulling in. I think it's great. What it doesn't do is it doesn't give you your ROI, and that's where we want to go to something like ScribeCount. So before I go to the app, I want to show you the web page. So over here on ScribeCount, this is actually something I found out about this week. So, and as soon as I heard about it and heard what it does, I had to get it. I feel like this is probably the new great go-to for reporting. The catch is you will pay for this one, unlike Book Report, which is free. But the nice thing is that your payment that you give out to ScribeCount is dependent on the income you bring in. So you'll see that if you earn less than $500 a month, you're not going to pay ScribeCount anything to use your service. It's only once you hit $500 or more by the month. Again, not all time. It's for each month. Then you're going to pay $15 for that month. And if you go up to past 1,000, we'll give them 20. And then if you go over 5,000, then it's 25. And this is again dependent on what you bring in. So I think if you, let's say, go back down to like 1,000 or 500 for the month, I think you go back to that payment for that particular month. So I do think that your payment is dependent on the month, because they don't have any annual plans yet, and I know that they're talking about doing some. But that's the thing about this one is, yes, you're going to pay for it, but you're going to pay for it fairly. And that's, I think, it's nice. But with this particular app, they do give you the royalties. They give you the ROI at some point. I'm not paying money on any advertisements or anything right now, so I can't demonstrate that at the moment. But right now, it's still a pretty glorified report system. But where ScribeCount also shines above Book Report, even in the reporting, is that it's not just KDP. It pulls from all of your any marketplace that you're in, including Drafted Digital, including Apple, including Google, including Barnes & Noble, including Kobo. It'll pull information from that. Now, what it doesn't do is it, like right now, I pull all my distribution through Smashwords. They are not yet affiliated with Smashwords, so you're not. If you are a Smashwords author, and if you have, let's say, distribution to Barnes & Noble through Smashwords, which is my case, that data you're not going to get yet. You're only going to get Barnes & Noble data if you are directly, if your sales are coming directly from Barnes & Noble. In other words, if you've established an author account with them. And I think you can also get it if you're tied in with Drafted Digital, I believe. But Smashwords is coming, so those of you who are Smashwords authors like me, don't worry, your day is coming soon. But yeah, you can, just from an overview, you can drill down the basic summary according to timeline, and then you can certainly use your dashboard to see who your bestseller is, and then if you want to become their affiliate, you can do that. Over here, it tells you what your situation is with your account. Obviously, if you're making more than $500 a month, good for you. But this is going to show you what your subscription is on hand. And then, of course, if you need any new publishing news, this is the latest stuff that's come through the wire. What they say is if you have any articles you want to share with them, just send them a link, and then they'll consider posting it. And then you have dog pictures if you're into that kind of thing. And then over here, these are the announcements from the actual ScribeCount people, and letting you know what the latest news is. So their entire dashboard, I think, is really nice. The fact that they have a dashboard, I think, is also nice. Now, I haven't fully explored this, so I don't know yet what you're going to get out of these things. But I do encourage you, if you decide to give ScribeCount a try, that you, check everything out here. Now, I didn't necessarily want to do the hamburger mode, but sorry, I clicked on the home page. It just brings me back to this. But you have other things here too. We'll go through the top 4. These down here aren't as important for the demonstration. Again, you can check it out on your own if you decide that you want to look into this. And I don't see a reason why you shouldn't look into this, because again, you get 14 days free, even if you are making Uber Buco bucks. That's an official term. And if you are making 500 or less, then you're not paying anything anyway. So again, no reason not to do this. But if you go to the dashboard, this works a lot like Book Report. This is actually where Book Report and ScribeCount kind of overlap. But again, you're not pulling just from KDP. You're also pulling from Google, Drafted Digital, and then if you're direct saled with Barnes & Noble, Apple, or Kobo, you'll have that information as well. I've turned mine off because I'm not directly affiliated with them. All my Barnes & Noble sales and things come through Smashwords. But again, one day Smashwords will be on this list, so maybe this summer. But you can drill down by whether you want month, by year, even all time. Actually, let's do an all time glance, because this gives me, again, a more accurate report of all of my books. And so this also, if I go back to Book Report, you'll see that it's pretty close. The only difference is you'll see that there's a few difference in cents. The reason is because with ScribeCount, they're going based off of the exchange rate differences. They're pulling in every 15 minutes, but they're basing it off of the exchange rate. That's the most recent, and I think within the past date. So their reporting may be slightly different than something like Book Report, because the timing of the exchange rates are different. But that's what if you're only getting, let's say, American sales and you're on an American report, then those should be consistent in real time. But you can see how it breaks down by ebook, by paperback. If I had a paperback sale, which I don't, but if I did, it would be on here. And then you can see how your income is doing based on the title, again, across all the different places where you sell books. And pretty much all of my sales right now through these channels are Amazon. I do have Smashwords sales, but because it's not pulling those sales in, I won't have that report. But someday I will, and that'll be nice. Of course, you still have the bar graph. Again, nice way of reporting them. If I want to go to units sold, I can just go to the next bar graph here and see how that looks. It takes a little bit of time there to show, but it's just, it's a really nice system. And what's great about this particular app is that it really respects your privacy. So I'm not sure what to say about all the other reporting apps. Because I know with Book Report, you're signing into KDP before it'll read your information. With ScribeCount, what this one does is it actually doesn't really go to your accounts. It goes to your book page. So all it's doing is you're telling them which book pages to look up, and then it's pulling the information from there. So that's what's nice about this. It never actually touches your accounts. it goes into the public information and pulls from there based on what you tell it to pull from. And then you can still do a CSV report. So if you have an accountant and you need to give them accurate sales for tax time, you just download the CVS report or CSV report across all your current channels, and then that's a great way to keep up with all your information. And it's just really friendly to keep track of everything. And of course, as I was saying, at some point, if you're spending money to get advertising, it'll track that too. I'm not sure where it does that because I'm not doing advertising. But for those of you who are advertising with Amazon or even Facebook, let us know how that looks. So going on to historical data, again, this is everything across the board. If you just want to know how you're doing overall, then this is a great way to do that. One thing that I didn't show you yet is you have, if you go back to dashboard, you have something called tags. So these are custom tags that you set yourself. I think you do it through, do you do it through here? No, that's a filter. That may not be in yet, I'm not sure. But basically what they're planning to do, if they haven't done it already, is through tagging. You can actually tag your books with certain keywords. So like if you want to tag, say, The Computer Nerd as a thriller and Gutter Child as a coming of age book, you can see what your top genres are based on those tags. So maybe you want to do something like female protagonist versus male protagonist. Not that that would really be a selling point that your reader's going to pick up on. You know, they're probably just going to go by plot. But you have different ways you can track your books. And so if you have a large backlist, then this is a good opportunity for you to see what your top sellers are by whatever keyword you give them. So that's again, it really drills down into the more nuanced reporting that a lot of these others don't do. So the last thing I want to show you is the bookshelf. So the bookshelf is cool because this is where you go beyond the sales and you can go into the ratings. So I want to show you in particular the Computer Nerd because that's the only one where I actually have feedback. Now you'll notice that they haven't fully shown you all the ratings yet for KDP, but I guess that's something that's still in the process of coming. But if I click on the Computer Nerd for KDP, this is where I actually have known reviews. I know I also have reviews on Scribd, and I think I have one, or I have ratings in Scribd, and I believe I have one on Kobo for this book. Again, because Kobo is not tied into, and I'm not directly affiliated with Kobo. I have my Kobo through Smashwords. I don't have that information pulled in yet, and I don't even know what it's going to look like when it does start pulling through Smashwords. So that's something I will want to keep an eye open for. At some point, I may just want to do a direct sale through Kobo and Barnes & Noble and Apple. Well, Apple I can't do because I don't have an iMac. But anyway, what's cool about this is you can keep a real-time check on your reviews. So if anybody does bring up a new review, this is the first place you can check to see if that's current. And right now you can see Computer Nerd hasn't had a review in quite a few years now. But every once in a while a rating will pop up from somewhere. What I was going to say is I know this is not current on the ratings because I do have a third rating on this particular title. I believe it's a 4-star rating for that. So I should have, to be accurate, I would have 5, 4, and 1 on Amazon. And then, again, Scribd has 5, and then I think Kobo has 4. So my overall ratings for this should be about 4, high 3 to low 4. But once they pull in all the ratings more accurately, I think this is going to certainly be really, really great to have overall. But you can go by books or reviews. So if I go into my reviews, this would be all my book reviews. You can see I'm really deficient on getting reviews from readers because I only got the 2 officially. And this is based on actual reader feedback, not just the ratings. Ratings by themselves, they affect the I guess the value of the book, but they don't really give the writer much information. And that's where I think having a curated list of all your reviews will come in handy, because then you can see what the trends are right now, because it's so split. I'm not really sure what to pull from the reviews. I have, you know, a 5-star and a 1-star and nothing else. So as a writer, that's not enough variant feedback for me to know whether or not the book is working. Because in both cases, I don't have enough information. Because even with the 1-star, like the 1-star reviewer gave me more information, but knowing what's in the book, I'm not entirely sure how the reader got this this response from the reading. Because I know as a writer, like I know it's in the book, and like this one in particular, I really have no idea what he's talking about, because I was very careful not to give it any Deus Ex Machina. And even with the extreme OCD, like that does not characterize the character well at all. This one for sure is definitely true. That was intentional. And boring, you know, I mean, I can't, as a writer, I mean, I can't really determine what's boring to somebody. You know, I mean, there are things that people love that I think are boring. So, you know, I mean, it's a fair argument. And if the reader's bored by it, the reader's bored by it. You know, that's, you know, unfortunate. But I don't really get that from the other reviewer. This one has a much different take. So that's one thing I think is great to have on a curated. If you have more reviews, you can see what a more common trend is among all your readers. Now, in this particular book, I have since revised it to something that I'm happier with. I actually didn't care. I liked the book in the original version, but I didn't think that this reviewer, even though I don't fully agree with his statements, I don't disagree with his assessment that the book needed work. There are definitely some things I've learned since then that I didn't include that I should have, that I have since included. And so anyone who gets the book now is going to get a much better experience, in my opinion, than they would have if they bought it back in 2015. But I don't necessarily think that the story is different enough to appease this particular reader. So, you know, these are things where as a writer, I'm going to take into an assessment. Like, well, I'm not going to be able to appease every reader, because not every reader is going to want this kind of book. But at least I have a way to synthesize the information in a singular place, so that if I do ever want to make a change, I can make it logistically, fairly, and all of that. So that's another thing that ScribeCount, I think, brings to the table that these other apps don't do. It's given me a place to curate all of my reviews and see what my trends are. I have another one as I go down to the bottom. This one actually kind of bothered me when I saw it. I have a rating for this book here on Google. And hopefully you can kind of figure out what the trend is. If you look at my Google Book sales, you'll see that it's a $2.99 ebook. And if you go back to my reports, you're going to find that I have no Google sales. So I'm not entirely sure how whoever gave it a 1-star rating, how they actually did that when they clearly didn't buy the book. And the only way to read it is to buy it. So I'm not entirely convinced that rating is honest. But, you know, I do know the book, and I'm not saying that 1 star is not justified. There's a reason why I'm going back and revising it. I personally think I can do better with it, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do with the book. So I don't think the rating is unjustified. So those of you out there watching this video, I'll advocate don't buy the book right now, because I'm trying to make it better. I know right now it's based on theme and not on plot or story. It's a little bit of characterization, but the theme is what's dominant, and I kind of feel like, you know what, let's just go back and make an honest story out of it. So as the writer, I'm advocating don't buy this book, but I still think that if you're going to review a book, you should have read the whole thing first. And whoever did this did not read the whole thing based on the sales. And that's another thing too about this particular app, is you can kind of see how honest people are. You can compare your sales to the ratings, and if they don't match, then you kind of know that something unscrupulous is happening here. And the other possibility is maybe they got it from another source, because I do every once in a while run a free sale on Smashwords. But that particular title, I don't think I think I maybe sold in air quotes, gave away free copies, I think not even 20 times. So for that to be an honest review, it had been one of the people getting the free copy from Smashwords. But this is on Google, and it's a much different platform with a different presentation and everything. So that's one, it definitely gives you an opportunity to see where all the honesty is. But it is what it is. Overall, though, as you can see, ScribeCount is helpful for writers, keeping track of their stats and keeping track of their income, keeping track of their reviews, and just being accountable to how well they're doing. So I recommend ScribeCount. Again, as soon as I heard about it and heard what it does, I had to snap it up. And hopefully if you've stuck with this video this long, you will too. Do leave a comment below. Let me know what you think of either one, or if you have another app that you like to use for your reporting. Some people just want to use Excel, and that's perfectly fine. Excel, there's absolutely nothing wrong with using Excel for your accounting. It's definitely, with the advantage of Excel is you can basically set it up however you want, and you're not beholden to somebody else's template. So I'm a full advocate of using Excel for your tracking. But what's nice about something like ScribeCount or even Book Report that Excel doesn't have native is it keeps up to date with things. And the other thing that I want to mention before I go is with ScribeCount, I think I alluded to this, but I'll just kind of state it out entirely. It's not pulling data. If you shut everything down, it stops pulling data. If you close the window, it stops pulling data. It's pulling data every 15 minutes, provided the window's still open. So right now it's pulling data from my pages because I have the window open. And if I leave it open, it'll continue to pull. But as soon as I close the tab, which I'm going to do now it's no longer pulling data. And if I want to have it start pulling data again, then I'll just open up the little icon up in my dashboard that you can't see because I cut off the recording right here. But once I open it now, it'll start pulling data again. So the only thing it's going to remember is the page data you gave it. In other words, you tell it which pages you want it to track. So to do that, you have to tell them what your pages are. And again, you should be honest by that. Don't have it track other people's income. Track your own. But you're going to be pulling. And not only that, but if you're pulling in somebody else's pages and they're making a lot of money, then now suddenly your subscription is going to go up in price. So you really need to just keep it honest. But yeah, you're telling it which pages to look up. You're not signing into anything. So that's what I like about this. The privacy levels are very accountable. So if you're worried about your privacy, you don't need to worry about it with ScribeCount. It's very secure. So anyway, I wanted to throw that out there. But again, if you have something that you like using, let us know in the comments below. And then also don't forget to like and subscribe and do all the things that YouTubers tell you to do. If you want to support me in this channel, you do check out my books. Again, here's a pretty good list of all the ones I've got. Amusement, 11 Miles from Home, Shell Out, and Waterfall Junction or Permafreeze. Amazon, they're 99 cents on Amazon, but you can get them free in other places. Once my website opens, they're going to be permanently free on my website. So I don't recommend buying them because you don't need to buy them. They're free. They're free in most places. The only reason why they're not free on Amazon is they can't make them free on Amazon without going through a bunch of hoops. And also, I figured if you guys really want to support me, then that's a good way of tipping me, is to pay the 99 cents that I'm charging for them. But the Gutter Child is, again, that one's been pretty positive among readers. So if you're into coming of age, it's not very long. It's 160 pages, I think, is what the print value is. So it's, I think it's like 42,000 words total. But you can read it in an afternoon or a couple afternoons. But it's a fun story. Again, I've had a lot of positive feedback on it. And then the Computer Nerd, again, it's fully revised and it's more conventional now than it used to be. So I think now is the best time to get it. And the paperback is now also been updated. So if you're a paperback reader, by all means, get the paperback. I'm going to be doing a video on the paperback version to be released sometime this summer. So keep an eye open for that. I think it's going to be in August is when I post that one. It might be sooner, but I think it's August, I believe. Or no, is it July? I think it's going to be after the 12th Writer's Bookshelf entry is when I do the paperback videos. So keep an eye open for that. You can see what the quality looks like, and if you're even if you don't want to buy my book, if you want to make your own paperback, you're going to come back for that sometime again in July. And then Found in Truth is getting remade with extra content. So right now it's fine as is. All the content that's there will remain in the final version, but the final version is going to have it's going to be integrated with a new series called the McCrae Parables. So I'm going to be adding the McCrae storyline to it. So that's really the difference with that. But anyway, check out my work if you want to support me. The ones I don't recommend you get, Lightstorm I think is good, but Lightstorm is a novella right now, and I'm planning on expanding it to a novel size. So the story that exists now is going to eventually become a first act to a larger story. So the only reason why I would say don't get Lightstorm now is because I do plan on expanding it to something full length in the future. The only thing is I don't know when I'm doing that. So if you'd rather support me now, it's only 99 cents. It's not expensive. And at the very least, you can get started. But I would recommend you wait on this one because I'd rather you get the full story whenever I end up finishing it. And then Fallen Footwear, don't get that one. It's not good. I'm redoing that as a novel at some point, probably the next couple of years. But just save yourself the burden of reading it. I do. I don't read it myself. I don't know. I really don't know why I released it. It was not ready. And then again, this is the updated version of this. Neither one is ready. Well, I still like the book, but I just don't think it's what readers want. I like it, but readers probably won't. So I would say wait until I announce a revision on that one. But the rest of them, give them a shot. I mean, have fun. I feel like it's... Oh, you know what? This doesn't even account for everything. I got a couple others on Smashwords only. But anyway, I'm overkilling this video now, but I'm just saying if you want to support me, that's how you can do it. Just pick up a book. And not only that, but it helps my exposure on Amazon, helps the algorithm, helps other people find it. And obviously the more sales I make, the more likely I can give you better content, because at some point I can upgrade my camera. Don't you all want better? Maybe I can get it in an office instead of throwing up a curtain in my bedroom. So, let me know if you have any questions, and then let me know if you have any requests for topics to cover. Anyway, all right, I'm definitely going beyond the needs of this video, so hope you all are well, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. Bye.